Unprepared. I apologize.
Not a problem. It happens.
Let's get that. There we go. It should be on now, I think.
Yeah, you got video on your end.
All right. So it's a little strange for me doing this without Gord, but we'll just do the best we can. Welcome everybody to What If We're Right. We are broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Phone lines are open, 604-655-9630. Don't worry, Mike. Nobody's ever called. Oh, that's a lie. One person did one time. Welcoming to the show today, Mike Symonds. He's a writer, speaker, artist, and content creator with an actually really cool website and a podcast on Podbean, the Anything Goes Project. Mike, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome.
Good.
This is a little different for me. I'm actually in the hot seat, and I'm not actually the one having to ask the questions to keep the show going tonight.
It's a little strange, isn't it? I've been on both sides, and I gotta say I much prefer this side. Just for the uninitiated, because my research was a little thin, why don't you tell our listeners about the Anything Goes Project and a little about yourself?
Okay. Well, real quick, the Anything Goes Project was a podcast that was originally created in 2010 by both me and my oldest son, who was in high school at the time. And it was one of those things, he just wanted to get on and do something goofy and funny. So we did that. And we started getting viewers, and because we did it, we also broadcast it live on Facebook too while we were recording.
Oh, very cool.
And it was going really well. Well, as you know, with having kids and stuff, things happen. They've got all these extracurricular activities they're in. My kids were all in marching band. We did a lot of state competitions and stuff. So they were really concentrating on their grades because they wanted to get into a good university. So my son came to me one night and he was like, Dad, he said, look, I can't keep doing this because it's going to start cutting into my homework. And I said, all right, cool. Tell you what, how about we do a farewell show and we cut it off from there. So we did. And afterwards, I pulled everything down, the website, all the stuff. And it was, not October of 2017. I decided, you know what? I'm going to start it back up. I don't really need a co-host. I know a lot of people within the music industry and film industry and authors and stuff because I myself am a published author. So I've got to meet a lot of these people. So I was like, I'm just going to start this back up. One, because I kept getting emails asking me when were we going to do new shows. And I'm like, where in the hell are you guys finding this information at? Come to find out, somebody had downloaded my the YouTube versions of them and actually had them on an archive YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So people were still getting to see them even though they hadn't been aired in 7 years. And so I started it back up, and the very first episode we did was actually with a friend of ours who was also on the original version. It's a Dave Rita out of California. He is an independent filmmaker, and his film bit parts, he completely, funded and financed the whole movie himself because Hollywood moguls said, no, we're not giving you the money, and you'll never get it off the ground. Ended up being... it ended up being so popular, and as far as like cult horror fiction, that there was like a 3-week waiting list for it back when Netflix had to have the DVDs. So it's just been the Anything Goes Project concept itself is literally anything goes. I'll bring anybody on the show and have a conversation with them. I don't care. Like I said, if you're an author, a writer, the soccer mom down the street. Everybody has a story to tell.
Exactly.
And this is the platform that we do it. However, over the past year, I've been getting a lot of people that are creatives, what I call creatives. They do something that is creative that want to put some sort of positivity back into the world. So that is what we've been really concentrating on, is getting all these people on here that do creative content, whether it's music, YouTube, podcasting. I've had several podcast hosts come on my show as well because I want to talk to them. Artists as well, people that use art as therapy for helping people that have gone through traumatic issues, just that kind of stuff. And that's pretty much how our show has evolved. and we recently evolved it into a YouTube channel now, and it's that one's been really fun because originally that YouTube channel was strictly for I would do an interview with somebody, and I would take the video file from that interview and I just drop it over to YouTube. So like, hey guys, and I'd tell them on the podcast, hey guys, if y'all want to see who it was I was talking to, just head over to the YouTube channel. I didn't ever think I was going to get any subscribers. Well, people started subscribing. And I was like, okay, maybe this is something. And then I started getting emails again saying, hey, we'd really like you to amp up the YouTube channel. So I had to buy a bunch of cameras along with all this audio equipment. Now we're doing the YouTube channel.
That is excellent. Is there other than your filmmaker, is there any big names that can credit a little bit of success to the Anything Goes project?
Marie D. Jones, she's written 27 books now on the paranormal. Just quite a few people. Also recently I've had on Twism Whitepiece. He is a hip hop rapper out of Toronto, and Ian Guerin, who is also a pop. He's been on the top 100 in the pop music, and he's come on. And actually, Twism and I have been working together here recently because he owns a radio station, and I'm now his Tuesday night live host.
Oh, very cool. Hang on one sec. I've got my co-host Gord joining us here, and I'll just have to put you on hold for 1 sec. All right, buddy. You here?
Hey.
Hey, everything okay?
Yeah. It's fine.
I assume it was the girl?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Are we on the air or no?
No.
Okay, it was Lucas.
Oh, Jesus. All right. That can wait till after.
Yeah, well, why I said so. I'll fucking call him tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. All three of us should be in now. Maybe not.
Hang on.
I screwed up. There we go.
There we go.
All three of us are here. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit sloppy, but we're all here together.
Eric, your video is really white.
Yeah, well, so am I.
Oh, yeah, but you're like whiter than ginger white.
I will see what I can do about that. Gord, say hello to Mike. This is Mike Symonds from the Anything Goes project. A fantastic story. And why do I have feedback here now?
Sorry, that was me.
No problem. We were just talking about some of the big names that he's had on his show, and a couple of great hip-hop artists. I'm really excited about the future of hip-hop. We've had a few artists on our show in the last year that were it looks like hip-hop's going in a good direction again, finally. And Gord's an expert. He may be able to speak to that.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, Twism is one of those hip-hop artists that I really wanted to bring on the show because, like I said, we were talking to people who are doing something that is impacting society for a good. Well, he had an awesome story to begin with because he grew up in a broken home, got involved in gangs, was running the drugs, the prostitution, the guns, all of that stuff.
Shit.
Ended up getting locked up. And he said this whole time that he was doing all this, he was chasing something in his life, trying to find something. And it wasn't until the point that he got locked up into prison that he realized, I had all of that. I had a wife. I had kids. And it was when he got out, he started trying to make a positive change. Like I said, his music is positive. His new album that just dropped, Twism 2020, is he's got a song on there called My Children. And it's about his children and his wife, how they've affected him and brought him down to earth and what he does to impact people. And it's just really great story with that. And like I said, his music is good. I agree with you. I'm liking where hip hop is going nowadays. I had another young lady on here recently. Her name was Ashley Britton, 18 years old, just now getting into the hip hop scene. This was her first album. Actually, that was her first interview.
Oh, really?
And that'll be something to say, 5-10 years from now when she's racing up the charts, and you can say, I was her first interview.
And I've got another young man who I was literally his first interview as well. His name is Slide, and he's coming up with some good music. He's an up and coming artist, hasn't signed to any major record labels or anything yet. But I wanted to bring him on because he's also got a platform for anti-bullying, because he grew up as a minority in a southern school in Georgia, where he was the only white kid in his classes. Plus, he has Asperger's and autism.
Oh, geez.
Oh, wow.
So for him to come on my show was really interesting to begin with. He was so nervous when we first got it started. I was like, dude, just chill. There's nothing to be nervous about. It's just you and I. We're going to have a casual conversation.
Do you guys have Pink Shirt Day down there?
No, I don't think we do. That when they do the pink thing down here, it's for breast cancer awareness.
Right. Yeah, there was an initiative started in Eastern Canada years ago where a young kid was bullied because he wore a pink shirt to school. And two guys in his school stood up for him, and they decided to wear pink. And over the years, it's caught on. It's at the end of February every year. And now it's just a massive movement here, just an anti-bullying movement. And,
I'm wearing a pink now.
I'd like to wear pink, but being a ginger just don't work with the skin tone.
Orange is a color that does not work with me. My wife tells me I'll put on an orange shirt, and she's like, please go take that off. Like a pumpkin.
Yeah, I said I look like a sunburnt pumpkin when I do the same thing.
My problem is I look too good in everything. That's why I keep the camera a little bit off all the time, or else it tends to get intimidating.
That's the ego I love.
So, I guess the title kind of says it all, but where do you hope to take the Anything Goes project? Do you have a goal for it, or?
I'm just having fun with it. I've already got people that have been contacting me that want to do sponsorship and brand deals and stuff like that. And it's like, no, that's not what my audience wants on that. So I'm at that point where I can say, no.
Well, send those sponsors to us because we need the money.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's like, I just tell them, hey, you know what? Look, that's not something my audience would be interested in. So I'm not one of these that's going to jump on the very first sponsorship that comes along. I also do a lot of tech reviews. So I've got people that are sending me free gear all the time. Nice. On the YouTube show. I've got probably about 20 microphones that are here in my office that I've tried out, and it's like, this one's crap. Throw it across the room.
I don't even have a mic. I'm still doing this out of my laptop or my cell phone.
Well, and it's like, I got friends that are messaging me, hey, are you going to keep that microphone? No. Me? But yeah, we've got people that are reaching out. The show is actually impacting people. We're finding that it is growing. Like I said, we're not Joe Rogan size. Never will be. I mean, that man's been doing his podcast for 10 years. So yeah, he's already been out there and done that. I mean, we don't do too bad. Like 3,000 downloads last month. My audience is worldwide. I've interviewed people in Europe, Spain, Australia. I'm actually supposed to be going on another podcast, which I have to get up for 2:00 in the morning to do it because that's his 7 a.m. or a 7 p.m. show that he does.
Oh, damn.
We've got Gordon and I have a friend in England who does a podcast, and he tries to get us on at all kinds of crazy hours because he's just starting, and it'll be like 3 a.m. here. Hey, can you do the show? And like, no, I can't. Leave me alone.
It's just not going to fly.
My friend Wassam, he'd sent me a message. Hey, I'd love to get you on my 7 p.m. live show because we do it live and it broadcasts to Facebook and all this and that. I went, whoa. What part of Australia are you in? And he's like, Sydney. And I went, that's a 17-hour difference. I forgot you don't live around here.
Yeah. So, you get that a lot when it comes to
these. I did the math in my head real quick, and I went, dude, I'm going to have to get up at like 2 in the morning. I said, the only thing I'm ever doing at 2 in the morning is sleeping or getting up to go pee and then going right back to bed.
Yeah, neither of those things you want broadcast on YouTube, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I told him I'd do it. We'd figure out a day that I can do it. So It's one of those I'm probably not going to go to bed that night, because if I go to sleep, it's going to be horrible.
Oh, yeah. Get on there with all sleep boys.
We are, what's the date today? Is the 8th. We're 10 days away from 2 years of doing this together, Gordon and I. And it just struck me in the middle of the night last night, what a great thing this is and how cool it is that we can all do this. And you really don't need to put money into it. You just need to have an idea and want to talk to other people. And it's such a supportive community. And just, as you know, people from all over the world are connecting every day just to talk. And I think, not to toot our own horn, but we're kind of breaking down a lot of barriers. I'm learning a tremendous amount about different cultures, different ideas, people that I thought I wouldn't get along with that I'm now very good friends with. How do you see it impacting mainstream media in the next, say, 5 years? Because I know Joe Rogan was doing this 10 years ago, but 10 years ago nobody was listening.
Oh, hang on, we just lost him.
I really didn't mean to offend him that bad.
No, his screen froze, and I think he just, his thing shut down.
Skype sucks.
Yeah, fuck Skype. You gotta get something.
I am not a fan. We've been having a lot of problems lately. I think the three-way doesn't work.
You know that's usually true in most life too.
I'm gonna hang on. If I lose you, Gord, bear with me here.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, no, I didn't lose you. I just lost him. This is starting to really make me mad. We're gonna have to find something better than Skype. I have a tremendous amount of background noise too.
Coming from your side or my side?
Who knows? I'm gonna try this again.
I got utter silence in my room.
I'm trying to call him again, and we'll see what happens here. Sorry, everyone who's listening live, but you're used to it. Let's be honest.
There we go.
We have him back. Sorry, but I'm not sure what happened. I was just saying to Gord, I'm not sure Skype is the best.
It's not the platform I prefer. I use Zoom for most of mine, because if you have more than 3 people on it, you do have to pay for the platform. But if you're just interviewing 2 people, it is free, and it is crystal clear video and crystal clear audio. And it'll actually everything and just send it to both of you in files.
We started with Zoom. I don't know why I decided to switch. That was just an arbitrary decision I made for no apparent reason, and it's caused me nothing but heartache.
We had one issue once with it. I think that's why for some reason we couldn't link a conversation together between me and you, and then you're like, "Oh, fuck this thing! We're going over to fucking Skype."
See, in Skype, I've never had any luck with. I've dropped every one of my interviews doing this, because I've had a few people that, like in Australia, they'll be like, "Oh, I only use Skype," and I'm like, "Oh God, please, why this one?"
So I don't know if you heard the last question there. I was just saying, sure, Joe Rogan's been doing this for 10 years, but 10 years ago no one was listening either. Do you see it? I personally, podcasting has become my number one source of information and entertainment. Do you see it really making an impact in media?
Yes, absolutely. 10 years ago when I first started, we wouldn't be doing this right now. We'd have to be calling each other, figuring out how the hell we're going to tie these phones into a computer to record the conversation. Skype barely worked. It was so glitchy. There was no Hangouts back then, Google Hangouts. There wasn't any other services like freeconferencecall.com or Zoom or all these things. And so it was a pain in the ass to have actual guests on. Now, if you were just recording between you and somebody else, you just needed a stupid Xbox microphone or one of those USB plug-in microphones, and you were good to go. I think as far as the quality of the podcast that we're getting out into the public now has jumped exponentially, because now people are a lot of podcasts are judged on how they sound now. Yes. They want that audio quality. And I had some issues when I first got started, because I dug out my old mics and was like, I'm going to do this off my old stuff. And I recorded it, and I'm like, oh, these sound like crap. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up like I said, I wish somebody had told me you didn't have to put money in this, because I did.
Yeah, I had the opposite problem. I've never been, I've never kept this a secret. I was going through a very rough time financially in the last couple of years, but this was something I just wanted to do, and I just picked up a cell phone and started doing it. I didn't know at the time that there was this audio, this need to sound good. I just did it, and we developed a following. I think ultimately there's the purists who think the sound has to be perfect, and then there's the group that just wants to hear a good show. And I liken it to AM radio. It always sounds terrible, but I still love it.
Yeah, and that's where I fall in on this. And I tell this to people all the time. I'm doing a whole creator series on YouTube, and I'm telling them, look, you don't have to have the badass Canon cameras. Go pick you up a 1080p webcam for $20 on Amazon. Record it from your iPhone. We carry around probably one of the most powerful computers and video components in the world in our pocket on a daily basis. It shoots 4K Ultra.
Yes.
Yeah. So I tell people all the time, look, you want to start a YouTube channel? Great. You can start it all from your phone. If you want your audio to sound a little better, go pick you up a little $20 lav mic, and you're good to go.
My favorite clip of someone in the media is Steve Jobs. And probably, I think it's like 1985, saying, "Oh, 500K is all the storage anyone's ever going to need." That is massive.
Yeah,
I got 3 terabytes of music.
Yeah,
I posted one video. When was it? Sunday night to YouTube, 6 gigabytes.
Oh,
jeez,
just for the one.
So yeah, my system here at the house, I've got a terabyte laptop. I've got another 5 terabytes over here. I got another 10 terabytes over there, and yeah, I'm pushing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hear you there. That's hilarious.
So I gotta ask, just because for the future of our show, are you anywhere near Harris County?
Actually, I'm about 45-minute drive from Harris County.
Shut the fuck up. Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we got questions.
It is, we get a lot of American news up here, obviously, because nothing happens in Canada, so we can't watch our own news. It's horrifically boring. But Gord turned us on to just this Harris County Sheriff's Office, which is just, they're like, they could have a movie.
See, I came across this one article, and it was about a shooting or some shit that happened, and the interview with the sheriff of the Harris County Sheriff Department. What's his? Do you remember his name, Eric? I can't remember the top of my head.
That'd be Sheriff Ed Gonzalez.
Ed Gonzalez, that's our boy, and he was one of those guys where he points out the most obvious and redundant statements, like, the guy is missing, we're not sure if he's still around or not. You know, sort of thing. Like, it's just a horrible example. But
we're pretty sure the deceased were alive prior to being killed. Was something to that effect?
That's like that news anchor that came on and said the house fire killed 6 people because they caught on fire. The fire was too hot and they probably died from the heat.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so we laughed about this, and then it was about like a few days later, something else had happened, and this same fucking guy comes up and does another interview and does the same thing. It says another completely redundant statement, and we've just fallen in love and said, that's it. We need to call them, and we need to talk to somebody.
Still negotiating that. They still have a lot of questions before they're willing to come on our show, but is all of Texas this exciting? Like, these guys, they had a drive-by shooting on a rap video set. They've had they had their first Sikh sheriff. He was shot in the back like within weeks of starting the job.
I heard about that.
Wasn't something about a prison break? You know, what was the prison break or some shit? I can't remember what the other one was.
Well, you were reading the Yelp reviews of the jail.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, there are literally signs when you go into Harris County as you're pulling in. It says, "Warning: there is a prison here. Please do not pick up hitchhikers."
That's the kind of proactive police work we need up here.
Do we have problems with your inmates leaving when they want to?
Apparently,
I mean, like,
the number one complaint with the inmates is rape.
And not by other inmates.
No, yeah, and that I do believe, because that is something that happens, especially with the privatized, all these privatized prisons that are throughout the United States right now. We get a lot of issues where the guards are taking advantage of these inmates that are in there, taking their commissary. Hey, you want this back? You got to suck me off or something like that. And it's like,
God, that is terrifying.
Wow.
And it is, as far as I know, like, I spent some time in Fort Worth 20 years ago. And back then, like, if you lit a joint, it was 10 years in jail. Is Texas still pretty pretty strict?
I've actually done several shows on this because I actually had one of the largest hemp manufacturers in the United States on my show. And Texas is still one of the states that has not decriminalized legal use of marijuana. We did about 6 months ago. Governor Abbott finally did sign off because of the pushback to make CBD products legal across the state and also allowing farmers to grow industrial grade hemp here. And I don't know if you know anything about the industrial grade hemp. It's got less than 0.03% THC in it, so it's mainly used for extracting the CBD oils, and then afterwards taking the pulp and using it as like textile products.
Absolutely, it's one of the greatest things ever discovered by man, without a doubt.
Which is why the textile industry is trying to keep it down, because you tell them that you can replace cotton with something that's going to last for basically your entire life, and it's a whole industry go out of business.
Like the early 1900s, whenever it was criminalized across the board in the United States, it was a congressman that stood up on the floor of Congress and told them, because at this point they were trying to figure out, should we decriminalize it? Should we make it totally legal? Should we make it a class 1 drug and all this other stuff? And it was a congressman stood up on the floor of Congress and told all of Congress, he said, black men smoke this and rape white women.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
That's exactly right. That's the actual history of the prohibition of weed. That's hilarious.
And we're finding out that cannabis itself, specifically like the CBD oils, are medicinally so they interact with the human body has a natural endocannabinoid system that perfectly interacts with the cannabis plant.
Yes. To
fix ailments and things of that nature in your body. And so the rest of the world has figured this crap out. The United States hasn't. I think Texas right now is one of 13 states in the United States that has not decriminalized yet. But talking to this individual and her husband is the one that's actually the hemp farmer. Her Otakata Kletke is her name. She's written several books on this, and her and her husband both agree that within the next couple of years, it's going to be decriminalized across the board on the United States. We've already got a federal bill in right now to remove it from the Schedule 1, which would basically put it at the same classification as alcohol. So at that point, they're going to really have no choice, because federally it's going to be legal. So all the states are going to have to fall in line. But yeah,
that just makes sense, because like in Canada, it's legal now. And for where I am in Vancouver, it's completely legal, and there's a thriving industry. Washington State, completely legal, that's a thriving industry, but we can't work with each other because we can't cross the border with it, because federally in the U.S.
And the tax revenue that can come in to actually do beneficial things for society. Colorado had $5.4 billion in tax revenue that came in off of just the sale of legal marijuana products, and they started giving people tax refunds on that, and then they still couldn't get rid of all the money. It was in surplus, so they decided, you know what, we're going to build homeless shelters with it.
Yeah, I know that the very first year they gave something like 20-something million dollars to a bunch of local schools just because they had all this bang for buck. Now, the funny thing is that's one state that did all that. Ontario, Canada, which is like the most populated, centralized to the whole fucking country, and they think that it's the center of the whole world, is what Ontarians think. The first year that Canada legalized weed, in the first year, Ontario lost money. They lost, what was it,
$44 million?
$44 million in debt in the first year. That's how horribly that it was handled. Even still to this day, when people get their product, it's dry as a bone, it's underweight. They store it in plastic containers that are not air sealed. They don't allow the sale of CBD products for humans. You can get them for pets, but not for human consumption. They don't allow any of the other, like no extracts, no hash, no oils. They don't allow any of that. It's only flour. It's the most asinine system I've ever seen. Like I said, $40-something million lost. Can you name a single weed dealer that you've ever known in your life that lost money selling weed? Our country discovered a way to fuck it up.
I only know of one.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because somebody narked on him, and he had to get rid of all his products, so he just handed it to me and my buddy in trash bags when we were in high school. Showed up to his house. Okay, I'm going to wrap myself out here. Okay, I was your typical teenager. We partied. We had fun. Went to a guy's house. We wanted to get a couple of doobies so we could burn them at this party. Showed up to the guy's house. He's like, "Hey, I'm glad you guys are here." Why? Hands us 2 trash bags full of the whole plants. Wow. We're like, how much is this going to cost? Just get it out of here. I know somebody narked on me and they're going to be here later. So I'm driving to this party with these bags and I'm looking at them going, oh shit.
I'm either in a lot of trouble or I'm going to be the most popular guy at this party.
The party ended up being everybody sitting around a large shower curtain.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was sleeping.
That's awesome.
So I got the sense while I was there that most of the people in Texas, and I mean this in the most positive way I could say it, people in Texas really had no concept that there was a world outside of Texas, and most of them didn't care. Is that kind of changing a little bit? That
Oh.
No. Straight up, no.
Nope.
Nothing changed.
I can tell you that. Okay, I'm not your typical Texan. I was born and raised here. Okay, but through my life, I have traveled to all 48 of the continental U.S. states. I've been everywhere. I've been just submerged myself in other cultures because I love that. I love talking to people and finding out about their cultures, their traditions and things of that nature. And then I come back home and it's like, now I'm the weird one.
Yeah.
It's there's something about New York City and I'm like, dude, I love New York. I absolutely loved it. And they're like, I ain't going no damn New York City or something like that. It's like I'm listening to the picante sauce commercial.
Well, it's good.
That's so funny.
I'm glad it's not just the impression I got. See, I'm deathly afraid of traveling. Not because I don't like other cultures, but I can't stand other food. I'm very particular about what I eat. So I'm just deathly afraid of traveling somewhere and starving to death.
That's my biggest thing when I travel. I want to try the new foods. I want to go test out the new cuisines and stuff. I've actually gone to international food expos to try these different foods. I've had the deep fried tarantulas.
I am dying. Okay, I have a horrific fear of spiders. Absolutely terrifying thing of spiders. But I hear that they are absolutely delicious.
They are, and sometimes you'll get lucky and one won't be deep fried quite enough and it'll still be cream filled.
Oh no!
This is my problem. This is I can't stand seafood. I love the idea of going to Japan. I love the Japanese culture. I can't stand seafood. I would starve to death there.
I love Japanese food.
I have to say, Eric, it's the funniest thing in the world. You, of all people, considering the situation you were in for so long, is picky about food. You're talking to a guy who's homeless for a year.
Yeah, Yeah.
That's just fucking hilarious to me.
Well, homeless guys don't have to worry about traveling very often either.
Yeah, I guess that's
a big
true.
concern, but I can't
So
do
good.
I can't do fish. I can't do like Vietnamese food is just the worst thing on earth to me. It's all I don't even know what it is. It's just soggy stuff with fish.
Yeah, it's good.
See,
I
I'm
dated
fat. I love all food.
in high school, and her family owned a local restaurant in town, and it was so funny because I'd go over to her house, and her mom would always be yelling at her daughter, saying, "Why can't you marry good Vietnamese or find good Vietnamese boy?" I'm standing right here.
Yeah.
I love that
no,
about
Paris.
moms are the best for that. Moms will say anything in front of the boyfriend. They just moms have no filter, especially from other cultures. I had the same thing with an Italian girlfriend all through high school who's
My grandmother had no filter. First time she met the woman who is now my wife, first time she met her, she walked up to her because I'm the biggest person in my entire family. I'm over 6 foot, or was over 6 foot. I'm about 6 foot now. You shrink with age. I'm 6 foot, and my wife at the time was about a half inch shorter than I was. And my grandmother met her for the first time, and my grandmother, here she is, little 5'4", looked up at her, looked over at me. She goes, "Y'all gonna have some big kids," and I'm like, "We just started dating, right?"
Yeah, they don't give a shit. That's all grandparents ever care about.
My mom now, she's the type that I'm not sure what she'll go. "Don't you think you need a coat?" I go, "No, I don't need a coat." She goes, "I think you should get a coat." And, "No, I don't want a coat." "Well, I'm going to get you a coat." "No, Mom, don't get me a coat." And then as I'm going out the door, she's putting a coat on me.
Or my favorite one is you come over and it's like, "Hey, how you doing? Oh, you look hungry." "No, I just ate." "No, you look. Get these leftovers out." And you're like, "Oh God, I was about to go somewhere, but I got to unbutton these pants now."
This is why that's why I love Italians. I will just inconspicuously show up in a regular Italian's house just sometime around dinner time or just before. Just knock on the door. "Hi, I'm Gord. How you doing?" "You look hungry. You're fat, so come on in." I'm like, "Yes." Feed me.
Like, what is that one comedian that said when he went to Italy, he was telling them, he said my little bit of Italian that he knew, he said, "If I don't eat, I will die." And they were like, looking at him like, "You're a long way from that, buddy, but have some pasta."
That's Fluffy, I believe. That did
Is that
one.
Fluffy? Fluffy just
I
came
think
here.
that-
Well, I would say now would be the perfect time to travel. If you can get any traveling in the next month or so, airports are empty. There's no lineups anywhere. Flights are cheap.
And there sure as hell is no toilet paper anywhere in town.
I'm still trying to figure that out. Why, of all the things?
Apparently, if you hoard toilet paper, you're immune to the coronavirus. I don't know.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, this thing doesn't cause diarrhea at all. That's not the problem. And if you get quarantined, it's 2 weeks. How much shitting are you doing in 2 weeks that you need 450 rolls of it? Like, I don't get it. I'm flattered.
Okay.
A video just came up in Kelowna.
Right now, I just pulled up my phone right now. I took a short video yesterday because my wife and I were in town, and she's like, "I got to run over to the craft department and get something. Run over, because I grocery shopped during the day because she had some training and stuff. She works in the medical field, so she had some stuff she had to go take care of during the day. So I told her, I said, all right, cool. I'm going to run over and do the grocery shopping. Well, I forgot toilet paper and her coffee pods for her Keurig. She's like, go get the coffee pods for me and some toilet paper. So I walked back there and I said, I'm probably not going to get any toilet paper. And she was like, what? No. And I walked back there and I took a video of the empty racks.
Yeah, it's just
and I posted that video to TikTok. Right now, it's at 13.9 thousand views.
Jesus Christ!
And
see, I just caught a video
start
from
selling
BC.
laxatives. In about a week from now, I'm going to start selling laxatives to all these people that have 2 years worth of toilet paper and don't know what to do with it.
I heard that people were. Now, I don't know why people in the United States are hoarding the toilet paper, but I did hear that some other countries were doing it because they were buying these bulk packages of toilet paper and then turning around and selling it back to China because they're running out of it in China, but at exuberant rates.
That makes sense. Yeah, I saw it on eBay for $5 a roll. last
So
night.
I think somebody in the United States misunderstood it that we got to have our toilet paper.
Yeah.
And we have a fear consumerism built into us, where if we see someone else stockpiling something, the number was like something like 11% of us are pre-programmed to just, if we see someone else doing it, we have to do it too. We don't know why.
Yeah.
They say it's going to snow because there will be no bread.
It's just the greatest thing. I caught a video it was actually in BC, Eric, at a Costco in BC, and it was an employee holding up her phone, and she's like, "So they're about to open the doors. You guys have got to see this." And all of a sudden, the doors open, and you see a group of about 25 people with their giant Costco shopping carts, and they come barreling down the main aisle, and they go from the entrance to the very opposite far back corner where all the toilet paper is stocked up, and they just beeline it straight to the toilet paper, and they're just tearing apart the display, filling up their carts. And she's like, I don't get these people.
The thing that blows my mind right now is tissue paper. There's tons of Kleenex. There's tons of paper towel. There's tons, like wipes. The wipes you could get, those are all fine. No one's buying those.
Well, what was funny is I'm standing there in Walmart, and I'm videoing this. And I sent my wife the video. She's across the store to tell her, and the video says, "Hey, babe, here's your toilet paper aisle." And sitting in all these empty racks, there was a bundle of toilet paper there. The Scott's brand. Nobody wanted those. And somebody was standing on the aisle, and they were laughing because I was videoing it. And I looked at them and I said, "What?" They said, "Well, there's toilet paper right there." And I said, "No, I have standards." She was like, looked at me like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, that's the John Wayne toilet paper."
Yeah. I ain't ripping my ass apart with that.
I think Corona should start giving it away, like 2 rolls with every 24 pack of Corona.
Ironic you mentioned, they're actually doing that in some beer stores here in Canada. They're actually giving away 1 roll of toilet paper for every case of Corona you buy.
That is insane. Well, and the Corona sales, for anyone who doesn't know, the Corona sales did dip, but worldwide beer sales have all declined because in China they just stopped buying beer. So there was a noticeable decline in beer sales. It's not anything to do with the coronavirus being related to Corona.
You know how many memes there are right now? If you open up TikTok and look at them, of people opening their refrigerator, and they'll have all like Bud Lights and Miller and everything on one side of the refrigerator, and all of them have little masks on, and this one little bottle of Coronas on the other side, standing there by.
That's I don't understand where the fear has come from. That people, like here in Canada, it's very low. It's centralized to 2 cities. There's coronavirus in Toronto. There's coronavirus in Vancouver. We are the largest country geographically in the world. If you're not in one of those 2 cities, you're fine.
Yeah.
You got no worries.
We don't have it that lucky right now because San Antonio, somebody flew into the Lockhart Air Force Base there, was sick. They went to the hospital. And they did their blood work and stuff. Well, the hospital released them before they got all the results back.
Oh, jeez.
Come to find out, this person did have coronavirus. Well, where do they catch up with this guy? He's strolling around the food court at the mall.
Oh, perfect.
They quarantined, shut down the entire mall. 2 days later, the town adjacent to me, Bay City, which we have a lot of workers that come from Bay City to my area, coronavirus there.
Wow.
And I was like, and everybody's all flipping out about it. And the company that I work with is one of the largest chemical manufacturing plants in the world. Had a thing that told everybody, look, everybody, you need to wash your hands. We're going to provide Germ-X. All trucks coming in and out of this plant are going to be examined. And if the driver even remotely looks sick, they're going to be turned away and all this. And they're like, and if it breaks out here, we're going to have to shut down. And I was like, okay.
I saw an interview with I'm not sure who she was in Washington State, a mayor of something, and she's saying just don't touch your face, don't touch your eyes, don't touch your mouth, and then she licks her finger and turns the page of her speech.
Oh, that was so good,
wow,
yeah.
We're all screwed.
I saw that.
Licking the pages, licking her fingers, that nasty habit. I don't see how somebody can do that to begin with. If I see somebody doing that to a book I own, I'm going to slap it out of their hand to begin with.
I had a buddy once give me a book strictly because I took it to the shitter with me. He's like, yeah, you can keep that. I'm like, what's the big deal? He goes, yeah, you basically shit all over it. I'm like, well, I'll take your free book. Fuck it, what do I care?
I don't understand where certain things we worry about and certain things we don't. Everyone's, if you've ever seen people share a pizza, it's disgusting. It's like a bunch of hyenas. But we're all worried about a toilet seat. And no one's ever gotten sick from a toilet seat in the history of mankind, I don't think. But we all make that little paper gasket out of toilet paper and try to do what we can with it. We're so backwards in the things we're afraid of. And I'm not minimizing coronavirus in the States. I know it's seems to be an actual problem there.
It's retarded. I'm sorry if that offends anybody. It's stupid, okay? Because the people that are taking all these precautions, and I mean, just the hoarding that is going on because of it. Okay, we know for a fact that the coronavirus affects mainly the elderly and the younger children and people with suppressed immune systems. At the most, you're going to get like a cold from it. And they're saying, what is it? What is the number right now of people who have actually died from it?
The last I heard, I think, was around 3,000. Okay.
What about the 2.5 million people that die every year from influenza just in the United States?
Yeah. Over 19,000 this year so far. And we're in the beginning of March.
There's no vaccine for it. Okay. Have you been on the internet? If they create a vaccine, 75% of y'all asses ain't going to take it.
Yeah, that's true, too. The one that bothers me is look at the people worldwide. If you're conscious of what's going on around the world, how many people die of starvation every single day that don't make the news?
So here we go. Yeah, Ebola. There's a big one. We've had 2 Ebola outbreaks that went nowhere.
But they're not sexy, and they don't...
It's basically the same scare that we had with SARS. Yep. The swine flu, and then we had there was another one that came.
The avian bird flu.
Yeah. MERS. There was SARS, MERS, the swine flu, the bird flu. Y2K was going to kill us all at one point.
Oh, I went to bed that night.
I didn't. I went out and did coke.
I think at one point Tom Arnold and Roseanne were going to eat us all. There's always something. Every year. And I heard this great conspiracy theory, and I haven't really looked into it too deeply, that every election year in the States, there's a new virus to be afraid of.
Yeah, I discovered that.
Yeah, it's pretty much. It's always something. Anytime there's an election, there's something to tell you, hey, look over here.
Yeah.
Well, of course, especially now with your elections are exciting. They're very entertaining for us up here.
No, they're not.
Oh, they are. Come on. It's the most exciting things on the fucking planet.
Not necessarily. Because I'm the outcast in my society around here.
I was just about to ask. Are you well, I won't ask who you vote for, but
I'll go ahead and tell you that the guy is a lying asshole and does not fit to be holding the office of presidency. I'll say that. I don't care if it pisses anybody off. If you can honestly tell me that your evangelical views support this guy, there's something wrong with your belief system here, man.
Wow. Very nice. I didn't put it quite so politely on the last episode of the show.
Somebody who touts, grab him by the puss.
Thank you. How has that been forgotten?
It hasn't.
It hasn't, but it's like, but he was placed here by God. And it's like, really? He's also cheated on every wife he's had. Matter of fact, the kid, Barron, and I'm going to go ahead and say this right now to anybody that's out there that's dogging on the Trump family or something, leave the kid out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
12-year-old kid, leave him alone. But he cheated on her with a porn star while she was pregnant with him.
Yeah.
And it's like, and this is the guy you want to lead the country. We just had a guy that spent 8 years in office with nothing that came up that could be pinned to him like that controversial.
No.
other than maybe a few policies here and there.
My favorite thing that comes again. This is my love-hate relationship with America. The wall is hands down the greatest thing in the world. Everybody hates Trump for the wall idea when it was Obama's plan, and it was Obama's idea to come up with it. I love that about America. That's just amazing. Obama says it. People fucking stood up and howled and cheered, thought it was the greatest idea in the world. Trump comes out, calls a bunch of Mexican, a bunch of rapists and drug dealers, and says we're going to put the same wall up, and everybody loses their fucking minds.
I think it's the way it's said. Obama, he had just a way of... He really didn't say very much in 8 years. It was just the way he said it. We all went, yeah that sounds great. That makes sense.
Very eloquently.
Oh, absolutely.
When he spoke, you sat up and you listened because he had something to say. When this idiot gets up and speaks, my kid who was at the time in junior high school was like, he sounds like a fourth grader.
I heard at one point that 4% of what he says is true.
I think there's a website you can actually go to that is running has a running tally on how many lies he says on a daily basis, and I can't remember the last time I looked at it. It was up to like 12,000 lies.
That is
since
amazing.
He's in office. And right now there was another website that's doing a tally on how much his golf trips have cost the American taxpayers. His golf trips have cost the American taxpayers more than it has cost them to pay every president we've ever had in history.
Isn't it something like $600 a day for the Secret Service hotel rooms?
It's millions.
Yeah, but
I have the live number right now.
Go for it.
Oh, you're looking at it?
Donald Trump has said 5,276 false things as U.S. president.
Since we've been on this podcast.
Since he took his first dump this morning.
I'm surprised no one's brought up that he was in the Little Rascals movie. The reboot of the Little Rascals that came out late 90s, maybe 96-ish. They did a Little Rascals movie, and he's in it. He doesn't play Donald Trump, though. He plays someone else, and no one's brought that up.
I didn't know that. No, everybody just talks about the Home Alone movie, the second one.
Yeah, I've got nothing for the man. At first, and I'll be honest, because I'm one of these type of people that doesn't necessarily fall politically to the right, politically to the left. I'm kind of in the middle. And when he announced, because he's announced it every year for the past 20 years, I'm going to run for president. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I got a hold of one of his books, and I read it. And then I found out he actually didn't write it. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he came out and said, I'm going to run for president this year. And I was like, okay, cool, maybe. And then he came down that escalator for his official announcement. And I watched the news that night. I'll be honest. I watched the news that night. My wife and I sat there and was like, all right, maybe that's what this country needs. We need somebody with some business savvy. I mean, yeah, he went bankrupt, but he built himself back up. And then it was like the next day, his speech, Mexicans and rapists and drug dealers, and my wife and I both looked at each other. But he's gonna get hurt.
I think he's gonna get elected. Do you remember the Eddie Murphy joke from Delirious when he's talking? I'm gonna go vote for him. No, yeah, I'm gonna vote for him, and they put in the check and laugh and walk away. And then the next morning they go, he fucking won.
Yeah. This is why you don't drink before you vote.
So is Bernie, or as Gord calls him, Joe Biden, is one of them the Great White Hope, do you think?
Honestly, I don't know, because I've checked out of media and the news and stuff for about 6 months now.
Oh, that's a good way to be.
Because my reason behind it was because I'm not one of these that just watches one news source. No. Because I've got a monitor here, monitor there, and when I'm doing stuff, I'll have like 4 or 5 different stations up and going so I can verify what one says with another one. Yeah. And most of my news that I do actually get comes through like the BBC or something like that, because or through Canada, because you guys are actually going to be, you know what these guys are doing right now. And so listening to that, but it got to the point where I was angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like to be angry. And friends that would be spouting off online, I would correct them. I'd fact check them. I'd give them the stuff. I've lost so many friends on Facebook. I used to have like thousands of friends, and it's like I'm down into like the 700s now since the election. Because so many people have jump ship. One of them, one of the individuals, I'm not going to say his name, one of the individuals, he and I got into it online because of something that Trump said about banning Muslims, and then he started in on the LGBT community and all this stuff, and I was defending the stance. Saying these particular instances, it was not somebody of Arab descent or something that did this. These were homegrown terrorists and all this and that. And then I got the fuck yous. You must like the gays because you're gay, or one of your kids is gay, and all that. And then next thing I know, next morning I wake up and I've been banned and blocked, and half my posts have been reported by this same person.
Wow. I've suffered quite a bit of that myself. Gord, not so much, I don't think, because he's actually good looking and popular. I'm just, I'm quite different from you, Mike, in that I love being angry. That's what keeps me going every day, is being angry. I do the same thing as you. I don't trust a lot of mainstream media because it's bought and paid for. So I try to research as extensively as I can before I report on something, especially on this show, because we do have thousands of listeners who actually pay attention to what I say, and when I say something wrong, I'm informed of it quite quickly. But do you feel? Let me ask, just podcaster to podcaster, do you feel a responsibility to research what you're saying, to be truthful, or do you just think it's not really? You're not a media person. It's not your job to worry about that. Or do you not even involve yourself in it?
Yes, I do feel the responsibility to research things, and I do research a lot of stuff. And one prime example was I actually got called out on something because it was an episode I did on the USS Nimitz and the encounter that they had over the ocean and stuff. And we were talking about something, and I was like, we got to talking about radio waves and how they travel through space, and I misquoted something. And it's like the next day I looked in my comments section and was like, it's not that you quoted it wrong. You were way too much. And I'm like, whoa, bro. Hey, sorry, man. I was just talking off the cuff. So now it's like, let me double check that. I'll do it while we're on air.
Oh, absolutely. Gord's good for that as well. He'll look things up as we. So. Where was I going with that?
Responsibility to report actual facts.
Yeah. Now that's something I think podcasters seem to take more seriously than most mainstream media outlets now. Do you think there's a shift in? Well, obviously not. Coronavirus proves there isn't in how people consume the news or the. Like you said, you've tuned it out for 6 months, but how are other people in the U.S. getting their information? How are they choosing who to vote for? Is it literally like CNN and Fox News, and that's what you get?
Pretty much CNN or Fox News.
Wow!
Oh, that is horrible.
That's
crazy. You've got people over on the left that are watching CNN. You got the people over on the right that are watching Fox News and True News and all these other evangelical shows like Jim Baker and all these guys and stuff. And then over here on this side, you've got CNN pretty much. And
was it Jim Baker? Didn't he go to jail for a time?
Yes, he went to jail. He served almost 15 years, and I may be wrong on this. 15 years in prison, something like that. Got out. He's got a new show now, and he's no longer allowed to accept monetary donations for his ministry. But so now he sells food buckets.
Wow!
Oh, really?
What happened to Tammy Faye? Where did she end up?
Did she pass away? I don't know.
I thought she did.
I thought she did.
I didn't know. I haven't heard the name Jim Baker, and I didn't realize he had a new show. That's
Oh
That
yeah,
is America
so
for
that
you. You
is
can.
watch it. He
Oh.
comes out and he spouts. He is a big time Trump supporter. He flat out says if anybody tries to, he came out and said if anybody tried to impeach Donald Trump, we were going to have a revolution in this country and God was going to smite all the homosexuals.
Wow. So is he now? Are you familiar with? Do you follow the QAnon conspiracy?
I've watched some of their stuff online. It's idiotic. It's not something I would hold very valid.
But it is taking your country by storm. Well, there's a great number of people that believe in it.
My answer to that is ignorance is bliss.
Very true.
Just so you know, Tammy Faye Baker died on my birthday in 2007.
Happy birthday to you.
2007. Oh,
Yeah, so July 20th, 2007. So there you go.
I'm assuming she drowned in her own mascara?
No, colon cancer, ironically.
Oh, that's not funny.
No, it's a shitty disease.
I mean, if she was going to go out, she could have at least gone out like, Mad Mike. I mean,
yeah, right. Send out the fucking rocket.
I would like all flat earthers to go out like Mad Mike.
I would just like all flat earthers to come on my show once.
Oh, they're the greatest people on the planet. I have to admit, there's so much.
I love their brochure or that one comment that they made. We had flat earthers come to our conference from all around the world.
All around the globe. All around the globe. It's so good.
I've always taken the stance with them that, and with a lot of these ideas, if you tell me the Earth is flat, so what? What changes if you're right? Really, nothing changes.
No, everything changes. Pretty much everything in physics changes.
But how technically
if we found out that we were wrong and the Earth was actually flat all along, nothing changes. We go to work tomorrow. We do our podcast.
I'm pretty sure there's 11 people right now looking down at us, yelling, "We're not flat, guys. We're looking at y'all." I mean, and I argued this with somebody because they were saying something about the Earth being flat. Oh, well, it could be flat. And I'm like, no. I said, when you get out into the total vacuum of space, the natural state of objects when they come together in space is to form a sphere.
That's right.
I said, so what are the chances that in our entire solar system that ours is the only one that's shaped like a Frisbee?
Well, that's because God created it that way. That's the difference. God made the spear. God made the shield.
And he put a dome over it.
That's right.
We launched nuclear missiles so we could hit the dome. And, I've heard all those different arguments where it's like, oh, when a nuclear missile goes off, that mushroom cloud, the reason it domes back around and starts rolling back around is because it's hitting the top of the dome.
That's right, yeah.
I thought the dome was just so that people in heaven didn't have to smell poor people.
I don't probably. And then I've heard one that I think he goes by Flat Earth Jesus. He's another flat earther, and he thinks that the moon is actually hollow, and it's a hand blown glass globe that was put there by giants.
Yes. And
really?
the sun is no bigger than the moon as well, which is
the
size of a large
the sun
enterprise.
is no bigger than the moon, but
it's like try to explain gravity to them, and they're like, no, gravity doesn't exist. We're accelerating at
Upwards.
1,000 miles per hour straight up. That's why everything is held down.
My favorite of all things is the Pac-Man theory. Is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life, which is what happens if you hit the edge of the Earth? Well, you just reappear on the other side.
If anybody gets
the Pac-Man theory.
Go onto YouTube and look up Astronomy Live. That guy is awesome. He does all these different types of astronomy videos and stuff, and he debates the hell out of some flat earthers all the time. Red's Rhetoric and Astronomy Live. Those two actually get together on a show all the time, and they bring on flat earthers like every Saturday to debate with them.
Wow.
And it's like they leave these guys just crying, and it's like because I've heard them get so mad. The guy that runs Astronomy Live, because he's like a mathematician and stuff, and he'll start yelling on the air, "I can't believe how dumb you are! You don't even know how to do math."
Well, neither does NASA apparently. That's a different argument. So, wow, it's already. I could do this all night. I'm having so much fun. Just
Yeah, let's go for it. My episodes generally run about 2 hours.
Yeah, we have been too, and there's a lot more we could talk about. Just really. Well,
normally,
Sorry, Gord.
I was gonna say normally I'd be all over. Let's do like a fucking 5-hour episode, but this fat fuck is tired.
We were supposed to do 5 hours yesterday, and I got shot down miserably.
Did we hit 3? I think we hit 3, didn't we? It was
yeah,
only
it
2.
was just over 2. Yeah, and that was a really just a phenomenal episode. So I guess on that note, I
was just gonna say, I guess. Oh no, Mike, we did a huge, big episode, Seas Valley episode on talking about religion, Christianity more specifically, and talk about basically the belief of God, if it exists, and can you prove Eric that he's wrong and that God is a viable thing. And now Texans take their religion pretty goddamn seriously. That's true, right?
I got a death threat after my first book published because it's a fiction book. It's about a zombie apocalypse. I had Patient Zero started in my hometown where I'm at. And I just happened to take the layout of the city and stuff, and I centered the story around all that. And I had one of the main characters in the book. They were exploring some of the empty houses and stuff, trying to find supplies, and they stumbled across this church, and they went in, and the entire congregation had committed mass suicide in there. And, okay.
It's a great start.
Fine, right? But then I get an email. This guy is sending me a death threat because I didn't think about it. I am in Texas. You cannot throw a rock without hitting a church.
Yes.
And the block in my book that I described was a church.
I got a similar an email from someone because I wrote a short story where God comes down and talks to a man, and the guy in the end ends up committing suicide. And I got schooled for it's like a 3-page email about how no one would ever commit suicide after they spoke to God because you would be so moved by the conversation that you just would never consider something like that. And again, fiction. As you said, it's fiction.
Yep. Yep. Just like all the other books that were written 2,000 years
Right?
Oh, should have had you on. That would have been fun.
Say what?
We actually had a minister on that's an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
Did? And
wasn't that what her? Yeah, that was her thing. She's an atheist, but she is still a minister.
Is that a Lutheran minister?
Oh, she was agnostic. She wasn't atheist. She was agnostic.
Sorry, she was agnostic.
No. I'm sorry. I've sat in on so many debates on agnostic versus atheist. It's like, okay, look. Yeah, I can understand that you don't know, and you're going to say, I don't know, there's not enough to believe. Well, you're an atheist then.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to say, that you can't be a functioning agnostic. You either believe or you don't. I was actually quite impressed with the way the conversation went. I think if those are two examples of where religion is headed, I'm quite pleased with it.
I think it's heading down the tubes because too many people are starting to educate themselves. They're tired of being force-fed fairy tales and everything their whole lives. And you find that people that start to think for themselves outside of the religious communities and stuff like that, they start realizing, oh, I can't blame everything that I'm doing on something else and just say, oop, forgive me. I'm responsible for what I do.
Sure. Is it a good thing that everyone's educating themselves? Do you think? I personally, I think it's fantastic. I mean,
I think it's fantastic because we all know what happens if we just go blindly into the night, believing in all these. Somebody tells me, all right, I've had somebody ask me, well, do you believe in God? And I'm like, which one?
Right.
There's currently 4,500 of them that in the world today are acknowledged. And they're like, what? No, the only one. No, 4,500 of them. Why is yours right versus this Hindu who's got 1,200, or this Buddhist they've got a certain amount that they go for? Or what about this tribe down in Ecuador? They've got their version, and then you go over here. I said, right now, 105,000 different denominations of Christianity just in the United States, and all of you think you're right.
It's amazing.
And yet, really, we all know it's just me and Gord are right. And
Yep.
I think there is so much stuff that we believed over the years that it just is ridiculous. And I think that's the part that baffles me is no one steps back and just goes, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Whether it's something religion says, whether it's something Trump says, generally you can just step back and go, wait a minute. Let's think about this logically for a second.
I've had way too many accounts on Twitter blocked by Ken Ham.
Yeah, I can't seem to get enough footing on Twitter to get blocked.
I've got like 6 Twitter accounts. I've got like 6 Twitter accounts for different aspects that I do for my show, my art, and stuff like that. And I think every single one of them has now officially been blocked by Ken Ham because I debate him all the time on there.
Oh, that's so great. All right, Eric, we've had a guess we want.
I'm sorry. You spent $100 million on a boat that doesn't float. And that we know that every biblical scholar in the world will tell you that's a myth.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, even the measurements in the Bible proved it wrong. If you actually go by the biblical measurements. So
you go looking at you talk to biblical scholars and archaeologists in Israel, and they'll tell you, look, the Exodus across the desert, that never happened.
Yeah, I love that one meme I saw that it showed the route, and it was like 12 kilometers or something like that. It should have taken him about a day and a half.
Yeah, and then you get Google Maps tells you it should take you only about 9 hours to walk it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you've got it's just insanity. Some of the stuff that people put their, I guess you could say, put their faith in because they lack something in their lives.
Do you see a revolution of sorts in the States? Is there a point where people are just going to have to admit it, and that's going to destroy a lot of American lives? But sooner or later, people are going to have to just go, shit, they're wrong. Christianity is wrong.
I don't know if anybody's ever going to come out right and say it's wrong, because even with me, can I know for a 100% fact?
Oh, not until it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but science has proven so much. We know there was no Adam and Eve. There was an evolution that happened on this planet. And I didn't come from no damn monkey. You're absolutely correct. You didn't come from a monkey. Both you and the monkey have a common ancestor, though. And so it's really interesting. I go into a lot. Biology is one of my favorite subjects. My oldest son actually was getting an advanced degree in evolutionary biology. Wow. And then my second oldest son is getting his degree in theoretical physics and engineering.
Wow.
So, yeah, you should hear the conversations that happen around here.
No, that'd just be amazingly fun.
And we top it all in with Marvel and DC.
Well, of course. It all ties in.
It's the next logical step, really.
Absolutely.
If there's no God, there has to be X-Men, right?
Well, yeah, that's gradual mutation.
That scares the crap out of me. The day there's X-Men, I'm done. I'm not. I can't even handle the Roomba.
Fight me.
So, why don't we? I can tell we're losing Gord here. Why don't we, real quick? Where can people hear you? Where can they buy your book? Where can they make you rich?
Okay, well, make me rich, I guess. I mean, money's not my driving factor, never has been. But if you guys want to find my book, it's on Amazon. It's called Apoc Z by Michael Symonds, and my last name is spelled Symonds. And if you want to listen to my show, the easiest way to get a hold of me or my show is just go to our website. It's anythinggoesproject.com. There are links to everything I do. I've even put up just recently. I just put up a whole separate page is tools and resources for people that are wanting to possibly start podcasting.
And it is a fantastic website. I really like it. I actually want to copy it because it's just very streamlined. There's no bells and whistles. It's just it's a great website.
It's very simple to set up. Squarespace.com.
And that's anythinggoesproject.com, or is it just anythinggoes.com?
Anythinggoesproject.com. There is another channel or podcast that's called Anything Goes. I've had battles back and forth with them because you stole our name, and I'm like, dude, I got podcasts that are 10 years older than your show.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Thank you. Move on, Dick.
It's such a thing. Really, does it have to be a fight? Does it have to be a legal thing?
Well, I got contacted by a group called Anything. I don't know that if you type in just Anything Goes, there's like 5 or 6 of them that pop up. So I don't know which one it was. These contacts sent me an email that says you are copywriting our name and everything. I went, oh, really? Yeah. Anything Goes Project. And they're like, well, our podcast is called The Anything Goes, and we can contact a lawyer and have you change your name. And I went, really? I said, how long have you had your podcast? No, we started our podcast back in like 2015. And I went, really? I said, I've got YouTube videos that are still on YouTube with the Anything Goes Project title, moniker, everything from 2010. I said, who do you think is going to win this battle in court?
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be me, motherfucker.
There's last I heard from the numbers that came from the Podfest that's going on in Orlando right now is 980,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it's insane. And the funny thing is, I've actually talked about this. The life expectancy of a podcast is generally 6 months or 6 episodes for most podcasts, because somebody will get on it and they don't realize that it takes patience to garner your listeners and your followers. And it's the same way on YouTube. Somebody will post 4 or 5 videos and be like, I'm not getting any subscribers. I'm going to shut this channel down. You know, most of these YouTubers that have been out there that have the 150,000, 1.5 million followers and stuff, they didn't start getting any real subscribers till like their 3rd or 4th year.
Yeah. That's where we're at.
Guys. If you're going to do a podcast or a YouTube channel, my word of advice to you is don't go into it with the mentality that this is going to be my get rich quick scheme. Go into it with the mentality that I'm doing this because it's fun. I'm doing this because I have a message to spread, or I have something to offer that can benefit my listeners. And the listeners and your followers and your subscribers will come. It's going to take time. There are over 10 million something podcasts out there. Get on social media. Start sharing your stuff. There's 10.5 million people that log into YouTube on a daily basis. And it's the same with Facebook, TikTok, social media, Instagram. Just get on there and start posting your stuff. You'll start getting your listeners. It may take a little while, but just do it.
There you go. Great advice.
Absolutely.
And if you want to find out how to do it, go to my YouTube channel. I've got a whole video series on starting your podcast and your YouTube.
There you go. I don't know if I'm ready to go that route yet. I like the audio because I don't like to have to look good. It's a lot of work. We can't all look like Gord every day.
Thankfully, that's what keeps me looking so good.
Well, this has been a blast. I know Gord's got other things to do. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. It's been just a great time.
My pleasure. I've really enjoyed it tonight. It's different being in the hot seat where you don't have to ask the questions.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a few opportunities coming up this month for myself, but I don't like to sit and answer questions. I just like to yell at people. I've done it
on a few podcasts, and the sad part is every podcast that I've been a guest on, they fell into that statistic that I just said. My show never got aired.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's too bad. Well, I promise you this one, it goes out live. We podcast live, and then I have no control over it. As soon as I hit stop, Spreaker publishes it. So It's out there.
There you go. Awesome.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Everybody pay attention to the Anything Goes project. And you're going to hear a lot more of this. I know I'm definitely a fan.
If anybody wants to, Tuesday nights, they can tune in to FCR247.com. That's the website that I told you about, the radio station that's owned by Twizzle White Piece, up-and-coming hip-hop artist. And I'm actually the Tuesday night host at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And this week, I've actually got something that is going to be in. So, I mean, since it's going out live tonight, you might want to let everybody know. You're getting a first look. I'm a lowly little podcaster and everything who's fixing to bring you breaking news first look. We're going to be the first podcast to actually air the behind the scenes, what happened at the Spotify Music Awards last Thursday, because my co-host happens to be one of the people who is up for an award and is an international pop singer.
Oh, wow.
Ian Garrett is going to be my co-host, and we're going to talk about what happened there, and he's going to give the nitty-gritty and the gossip that was going on behind the scenes.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's amazing.
FCR247.com.
That's right, at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Very cool. So I'm going to say good night, Mike. Thank you very much. Please keep in touch. Tell us what's going on in your country.
Not a problem. It's just all screwed up right now.
And we're enjoying every second of it.
It makes for entertaining podcasts, that's for sure.
I loved Canada the last time I visited there. I mean, good grief, man. I went over there and I crossed over Windsor, Canada area. And shoot.
Oh, Windsor. Yeah.
Yeah, all the casinos and stuff that were there. Yeah. That was awesome. I enjoyed myself there.
I always say, if you truly want to discover Canada in its splendor, you either visit BC in the summer or you visit Ontario, like a little bit slightly northern Ontario, in the fall. Ontario in the fall it's just gorgeous. The colors, the smell, it's mesmerizing. There's no getting around it.
Well, that's definitely on a to-do list I've got.
Yeah, nice. You will not be disappointed.
And I am doing everything in my power to get back to Texas, so. But I want to visit Harris County.
The first time they hear you say a boot, you're going to get arrested.
That's why I'm bringing Gord.
We arrested him because he's Canadian.
It's all right, because I can talk my way out of anything. It's a natural gift.
All right, we're going to say goodnight, guys. Gord, can I keep you for 1 minute after the show here?
You certainly can, sir.
All right. Mike Symonds, everybody, that was great. Please join us again anytime.
Not a problem. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike, for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Can I do this without hanging up on you, Gord?
You should.
I'll just hang up on my end.
That'll work.
That'd be great. Thanks. I'm going to do this.
The following program is for adult audiences only.
Wrong one.
Of course.
That was terrible.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged to obtain professional legal and medical services.